Hey buddy fighters, so as you see on screen, we've got a plain artwork of the Drago Knight booster box, but oh my goodness, there's so much news to talk about that I'm going to try my best not to go too fast and actually slow my down so you can process this. But basically, we got Core magazine a while ago, which had reveals for Drago Knight and a lot of other stuff. Then we got information, which is basically a live stream from the Japanese Buddyfight channel, telling us about the Thunder Empire versus Chaos set, information on upcoming sets, and yada 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 yada, and all this kind of other stuff. So we're here to talk about that. First off, I wanted to mention someone on the Buddy Spoiler Discord, I believe it was, pointed this out. It was Garga and Cross, Lost Garga and Cross. I don't know how that's going to tie into the manga, but that's a thing, so just want to point that out. We also have announcements for more Ultimate sets, so these are more of the crossover sets. So we have Cinderella, Girls Theater. I have no idea if this is from Bang Dream. I'm just clueless about this stuff, but it's really cool how there's voice actor sign stuff, so they're, I don't know, trying to cash in on it. Idol Rare is apparently going to be a thing as well, and we also have the Poppin' Party, Girls Band Party Pico. So yeah, I have no clue about any of this. It looks interesting. Hopefully we can get other people. It's like, whoa, anime stuff that it's in Buddyfight and not White Shorts, even though, you know, Buddyfight is clearly a Japanese game, you know, based off the artwork and the cards. But it's still really interesting to see that, and yeah, maybe we'll get more people in the game, and if you're interested in this, then that's really cool. Of course, you have Detective Conan, and now we have this. So basically, for those who don't know, the Buddyfight Ace anime is going to be going on hiatus. So basically means because they had to switch studios, or I think the studio got bankrupt or something along those lines, they basically had to switch, and now they're trying to basically cancel the anime and find a new studio to make the anime. But right now the manga is still going, and so the Core magazine has given info about this. So we know Gao's going to return in some shape or form in the manga. He's got the Chaos Gao tan, which is really weird. I don't know. Mod's apparently going to come back, meet with what's his name? Garga. Almost forgot his name. And of course, where's Chibi Panda? Chibi Panda ain't here, but you know, he's probably here somewhere chilling. We also have two new characters. So K Omnipotent, basically description the general kanji of what it says there about the characters, which is Yuga Senior. And we also have this guy named Alec. I think I saw another translation for, I think it was something to do with a K. But yeah, their artwork is really interesting, and I definitely want to see how their characters go. We either will actually see them in anime, or if they'll come back later afterwards, because the way that I see it is that Bushiroad announced it later in the fall, or possibly winter, when the anime comes back then, possibly, because they need time to work on it, and they already have announced a ton of sets, like the crossovers, Drago Knight, all that stuff for spring and summer. So that's what I'm thinking, but it's really cool to see that. And they also have this on the Japanese Buddyfight website, which is actually deck lists, which you can also find on Freedom Duel as well, for basically the anime characters deck lists, which are not the greatest, but you can take a look at them if you want. You also have this special promotion, which is really weird because we still don't have a flag, or we don't know how you're going to be able to play the Conan cards yet. Yeah, we have this promotion in playmat, which I think is still pretty cool. So it's kind of a promotion here that Freedom Duel has up. So receive 1 and 2 player mats for every 5 packs purchase. And now we get onto the cards, which are the crazy stuff. Now before I get into this, I need to go all the way back to Drago Knight stuff and Primordial Dragons. I just want to say, link to all this stuff will be in the description below to all these websites, you know, Freedom Duel, Buddy Spoiler, and of course the official Bushiroad Buddyfight website. So if you want to check all those out, and of course you're probably getting a new card of the day, because the Japanese Buddyfight channel usually puts on a new card of the day at the beginning of basically every day of the week, but you do have to remember that Japan time, at least for me, is a day ahead. Anyways, let's talk about Drago Knight stuff. First off, we have Garga down here, and I wanted to do a whole entire rant on this, but this is the thing, G-Boost Body. So 2 gauge Chop Guard and Soul, Dragod Key, so keyword, so it's now just there, so you don't always have to look it up, and you just, oh yeah, it's Garga, so I can have this in here. Anyways, G-Boost Body, at the start of your attack phase, for this turn, all cards in your field get power plus 1 million. 1 million! I don't know why. Bushiroad's just like, what can we give Deity Dragon Tribe? 1 million power. Let's do it. Maybe it has something to do with the other manga characters, like the ones we looked at earlier, possibly having some insane defense. But I mean, heck, what are you using this for? Killing max dragons, prisms? You might as well just make an infinity, because nothing else is going to have a 1 million defense. I just don't get why. I get why, but I don't. It's really confusing. Anyways, then if you have another Deity Dragon Tribe on your field, for this turn, all Deity Dragon Tribe on your field get critical +2 and penetrate. And then after this, there's this whole talk of do we mix G-Boost, GFO? It's hard to say. Obviously, it sounds like there could be some really cool whack combos between both. And then, of course, there's always loyalty, too, which you always have to factor in, especially with this G-Boost Body, because you want to spam a lot of monsters and attacks because you got these insane buffs to just go crazy and attack your opponent. So it's definitely interesting to see that. And I don't know how to feel about this. I feel like G-Boost Body is really unoriginal. People also saying, which I noticed, that the body keyword here could also be swapped out. within there. You guys can't really see it, and you know there's an English official image out for this yet. But yeah, that could be Swatos. We could get like G-Boost's power, G-Boost, I don't know, weapon in the future. So we never know. We also have the Impact from the Secret Pack, which is basically Gigantic Crusher for Yuga. 1 gauge, deal 5 damage. Just, I don't know, 1 gauge cheaper DD Gargantuan Punisher. That's a thing. There's so many other cards to talk about. Okay, we already talked about those. You have a triple rare Conan card from Case Closed. Basically, call another Detective Boys from drop, which is really nice. You have this crazy card for Astral Dragons, which is really good. 1 gauge, 1 life. You get to either drop a soul, pop a card, or reduce all damage you take by 2 for a turn. Yep, it's just reduced 2. We also have Cross Intercept. Some people really like this art, some don't. And also this from the Buddy Future Twitter art, who were actually posting images from the Korokoro magazine. Anyways, this card, cast cost, drop a soul from Master Dragon, Link Dragon, or your field. Counter, choose and use one of the following through. 3, I can't speak. Destroy up to 2 cards on your opponent's field. Return up to 2 cards on your opponent's field. Or rest up to 3 cards. 2 cards on the opponent's... I said 3. Anyways, you get the point. It's on screen. This card is just good. It's just really good. There's not much else to say. It's a really good card. Anyways, we also have the Secret Pack going on for Deity. For Deity Dragon Tribe. So we basically have dual lightsabers for Yuga because, I don't know, reasons. 1 gauge, 1 life, Dragon on your field, you just get free immunity for destruction and ability null because reasons. And also counteract, it can call a G, if you have a card with G Boost Body on your field, so you can't have a card with G-Evo on your field to use the ability. You can call size 1 or less DD Dragon Tribe from your hand by paying call cost. It also has double attack. So it's just a really free card. It does a lot. It's good. There isn't really much else to say. But yeah, you gotta remember loyalty is a thing. This is also in the Secret Pack. You know, free quadruple attack, because why not? 2 gauge top deck. The Dragon on your field reduces the size of this card in the field by 2. And nullify all abilities in your opponent's monsters in battle with this card. So, it's a solid card. Nullify abilities is not bad, especially if your opponent isn't ready for it. But most decks already have immunity. And you also have to remember that this cannot actually be called by the lightsaber card. I'm just going to call them the Sabers card. But basically, yeah, it's not a size 1 or less DD Dragon Tribe. But you can call it using this card. So, Gargi Burst, I don't know. You only cast this card if G-Boost Body is activated during this turn. 2 life, gauge 2, draw a card, call up to 1 DD Dragon Tribe monster for your hand by paying its call cost. I don't know what to say. It's free. 2 life, gauge 2, draw a card. Yeah, you get free advantage, you get more calls. There really isn't much to say about these cards. I just really don't know. We also have Garcat, which is just, you know, Garcat 2.0. But what else is there to say? Double attack, it gets free life, deal 1 damage when it attacks if it's 10,000 or more power. And when it's card is field, you have a G-Boost, you just get free draw 1. So yeah, that's nice. We also have Gardog, which is actually a searcher for G-Boost Body. Yeah, Garga's just getting searchers. I don't know why. When this card is just field, actually no, I do know why, because, you know, it's the ace meta. But anyways, when this card is field, you drop a hand card. If you put top card deck is your gauge, put to 1 card with G-Boost Body from your deck in your hand, shuffle your deck. And then if you have a Drago on your field, this card's attacking him, you nullify attacking alone. Although some people kind of like freaking out over this card. I mean, it's not like it has double attack. Sure, 4 crit you can't null, but I mean, ace decks are fine. It's nothing game breaking. But yeah, G-Boost got a searcher just immediately. This card, 1 gauge, pop all cards, draw a card, deal damage for each card destroyed. It's just there. Of course, you also have this cross. When I saw this cross for the first time, I just had to bang my head and just say, Bushi, why? Just why? I don't know why. Like, don't get me wrong, these cards have incredible artwork. I love this game, clearly, but I just don't get it. Anyways, we have Sky Seer, Noble Dragon, Cross, Illustrate, Astrologia. Almost messed it up. 2 gauge, top deck, and soul. If you have an Astral Dragon on your center, all the following abilities activate. So you basically can get 10,000 defense, but only for this, basically the center and the left. Then you have an Astral Dragon on your right, you can get critical +2. Then you have an Astral Dragon, I equip this card and the Astral Dragon get power plus 10,000 and double attack and soul guard. But you have to remember that this is only being applied to certain cards in your field. It's not a buff to the entire field. But it's also a problem because you're just there sitting there being like, okay, why is that one card that's not in the right position not getting the buff? And like, I can see why that's a thing. I just don't get it. I mean, it's good. It's a good card. I don't know what else there is to say. I'm losing my mind. But yeah, Cross is good. Another, speaking of good Astrologia cards or Astral Dragon cards, we have this card. I wanted to talk about this really quick. You can see it on screen. It basically gives immunity to all your Astral Dragon monsters, can attack through center, and can also get 3 crit double attack, which is okay. Now, the only thing I want to point out this card is, I don't want to say, actually, no, it is a pretty big issue with Astral Dragons, is that Astral Dragons like having an item on their field that cannot be touched because it is safe and they don't have to worry about it. That's why you still see Rock still being played now. The card that this card cannot be destroyed by card effect, continuous effect. And while this card does have Soul Guard, it can get around drop and bounce once. Because of that, it's still not going to be... I'm basically saying that it's not still going to have that constant protection that you might want. It doesn't protect itself and only monsters, but it protects for bounce and destruction, which is really good. So I don't know how to feel about this. If there are any Astral Dragon players that want to talk about this, feel free to in the comments. Anyways, what else is there? Another Akito, nothing really to say about this. It just calls from drop. Penetrating double attack, so just really making them, like, allowing you to basically allowing you to run less relevant previous cards that are now outdated. So, you know, now if you're playing Dragon Lord, you have to buy that. And this thing, which is basically, like, this reminds you of Dual Jaeger Dynamite, because basically just call your boss monster on top of a boss monster, get the abilities. So yeah, that's the thing. Anyways, moving on, we have even more stuff which I really don't want to talk about. Anyways, it's this really nice card in the trial deck. Gauge life draw if you have a Dragon on field. This card, you get to stand a card on your field, the DD Dragon Tribe, or reduce damage to 0. And you also have a Conan Searcher, which is really nice, and more cards for basically the trial deck. And some of them are also Korokoro or demo decks for Buddyfight as well. Okay, finally we can get to more stuff. Okay, also there's this. Draw a card, which is your free draw one for Detective. This card from the anime, which I just have no comment on. And also this, which can kill and destroy her. Anyways, moving on, I want to talk about Primitive Dragons, and there's all of this to talk about. Okay. Basically what I'm going to say about Primitive, or for Buddy Spoiler, I like to put Primordial Dragons. Hunter Surge did a video on this. You know, it's Hunter Surge. He likes the Ancient World. He likes this, so go see what he has to say about the speculation. I can agree with several of his points about it, but I'm not going to spend another 10 minutes talking about Primordial Dragons. You can go check out his video, so I'll put it somewhere, and you can find it. But yeah, Primordial Dragons are looking really good. Sorry, I don't want to say really good. Okay. Do I want to copy him here? It's a big if. It's a big if on what other cards they get, and he does a ton of speculation and talks about a lot of the stuff they could potentially get. But right now, they're okay. They're not good, and they kind of are complete trash right now. But again, we haven't seen all their cards, so they could potentially be a really good card without Lost World. Okay, finally we move on to the Thunder Empire and Chaos stuff. We still didn't get a reveal for a Gear God yet, or at least the main one. But we basically got SP reprints for Warlord Sword released, which are really cool artworks, honestly, and Chaos Gear, which are both really good cards for Thunder Empire and Chaos decks. I believe Dragon Shine is here because it is a reprint, if you don't mind me checking real quick. Apparently it's supposed to be in the trial deck for Garga as well, according to that. So that's really interesting. Garchris too, so... Wait, Garchris as well is really being printed? Apparently there's information about this, or else Spoiler wouldn't put this up. Yeah, it's supposed to be... It might be in the trial deck for some reason. Same with Garcat and some other stuff. But anyways, we're here to talk about the Thunder Empire and Chaos spells. But let's have a look at this really quick. This card, I'm not too sure how to feel about this. It's a really cool promo though. Counter, drop a hand card. If you do for this turn, next damage you take is reduced to 0. At the start of your main phase, this card drops on pay 1 gauge, drop a hand card. If you do, put this card from drops into hand. And it's generic. So anything that has really good drop effects, for example, Alwildel for Legend World and Ninja Garga, could really use this a lot. It's just free discard. I'm getting it back over and over. I'm not too sure how good it is, especially because spell modes can be nullified, but it's nice how you can have an effect to grab it back too. We also have Dragonic Overlord, which is bringing the Flame Dragon attribute somehow alive in Buddyfight. And also this, which is just acts as card soul monster, call this card from the soul, and you know, it's basically Boomerang Dragon, but Garga form. So yeah, as mentioned earlier, these are apparently reprints for the trial deck. So if you ever already have them, then that's unfortunate. Anyways, we're here to talk about the Overthrow and Overturn cards. So let's start off with this Abigail. Overturn Black Vortex Dragon Abigail. So call cost destroy card on your field and put the top card deck in its soul. When this card is destroyed, destroy a card in your opponent's field. Overthrow during each player's attack phase. Return a black dragon with set for your drops onto the bottom of your deck and pay 1 gauge. But Buddy Spoiler, you might want to fix that. But yeah, so basically you can use it during either player's attack phase. And for this fight, all cards during your field get power minus 5,000. Minus 5,000 power defense and critical minus 1. Move, double attack, and soul guard. So it's basically just a continuous debuff, and again, because it's overthrow, you cannot counter this effect at all, and you can still use overturn Abigail's effect to get yourself another turn. So I've been seeing talk about this card in Cursed Dragons potentially, which is interesting. I don't really know how to feel about this card. I mean, it's obviously really good being able to get a continuous debuff to field. Thing is, there's either going to be reduction that's just randomly in there in ace decks. So they do have the potential to just completely ignore this buff if they have an effect like this card's stats cannot be blah 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 reduced. So it's still a really good card. Move double attack Soul Guard. It doesn't give immunity to your entire field, which I don't think was really a big thing, or at least for Overturn Abigail for what its use was, because Overturn Abigail was only there just to get you free draws. This card's really only here to get a free debuff on your opponent's field so you live longer, and also that destruction effect is also really interesting. So when it's destroyed, destroy a card opponent's field, even though pop isn't too relevant. So, I mean, it's a good card, but I don't think it's going to be like meta breaking, which I think is pretty cool. You also have Jack Arms J Avalanche. So this card installed from Monster Jackknife gives 2/2 and just field either gauge, gain a life, or draw a card with Cross Knight. It's an okay card. It doesn't have an effect to recycle it, which I thought would make it insane, which it would be, and probably maybe even broken. But it's still just, it just feels mediocre. Like everything else gets free gauge, life, draw. But I mean, it's still a really good card, and you know, it's good support for Jack, so can't really argue there. You also have this card, which some people were also freaking out about as well. And yeah, only casts this card during time opponent's turn. You just nullify attack, get a free soul for your Prison Dragon, gain a life, draw a card, and as a bonus, souls in the Prison Dragon with this card in his soul cannot be dropped by your opponent's card effects. So you pretty much, okay, I mean, you still do want an item obviously in your Prison Dragon deck, but it's basically not needed now because, you know, how do I say this? Basically, it's really good. Anti-soul drop is really good for Prism, and you get a free life draw, nullify the attack, and get another soul, which is really annoying for Prism Dragons. Like, if you're fighting them, it sucks. So, we actually have Knight support. Thunder Sky Knight El Quixote. It was actually in the commercial, I believe. So, this card's in the Soul of a Knight. It gets double attack, so solid effects of using the other El Quixotes or anything that's putting a Knight from Soul. You're basically getting free double attack for them. And overturn, during your turn, drop a Knight from your hand, equip up 2 items for your deck without paying their equip cost, and shuffle your deck. It's really good. Really, really good. I don't really think there's much else to say. Knights are still in a position where they're kind of just okay. Like, they're just mediocre, and I think this is definitely going to help them. Being able to just drop this, get free 2 equips from deck, and also being able to give a Knight double attack is just really, really good and nice support for Knights. So, yep. Really good card. We also have another Satsuki. So you have the rare Satsuki, you got the regular Satsuki, you got overturn Satsuki, you got armor Satsuki, and now you have this Satsuki, which is just insane. Anyways, Super Thunder Emperor Battleship Satsuki. Size 5 Battleship Thunder Empire, 12/3/5. This card in the field cannot be destroyed, and its ability cannot be nullified by your opponent's card effect. So having built-in immunity like that is really, really good. Especially when you can have the Armored Satsuki on top of this card, or get into Soul somehow, like with Brave Machine Hanger or something else, and instantly have that immunity effect is really good. When you station, put up to 2 monsters from your drops in this card's Soul, which is, you know, free stuff to call. And then if you're turning, you put up to 3 Crew Trooper or Thunder Empire monster field the Soul. So actually being able to have synergy with Thunder Empire monsters. And counteract during attack phase, call to 1 monster in this card's Soul while paying its call cost. So it doesn't really care about size. And it can also work with Thunder Empire monsters, which is nice. Soul Guard Station, pay 3 gauge. So, it's okay. Like, it doesn't have the penetrate from Overturn Satsuki, and it's not exactly spam call to protect you, but it's still really good and definitely helps out battleships a lot. So, yeah. Ignore the saying okay thing. Of course, we have Mini Gear God support, so Mini Gear God Skeleton, you know, that might creep you out a bit. But anyways, you only call Mini Gear God Skeleton once per turn, so, you know, we're getting the trend of ace stuff, getting only called once per turn. Enters the field, you check top 4, any number of cards with Gear God in its name from them into your hand and drop the rest. So, obviously, you can grab 4 Mini Gear Gods. So, I mean, it's good. I was going to say something else that was going to sound really dumb, but it's good. You basically get to check top 4, and if you're playing Mini Gear Gods, you basically get to add like 4 through, usually probably I'd say on average maybe 3 cards depending on your ratio, but you definitely get a lot of free Gear Gods in your hand, which is something you definitely want with Mini Gear Gods because number 1, they're weak, you're either killing them off with Chaos Drain, or you either just want a lot of them for effects, so it's just really good. Levitine. So, a lot of these cards, in case you're not seeing patterns, are supposed to work with their initial flags, besides just working well with their supported decks. So, I think Levitine's an okay example of this. So, 20,000 power, 4 critical with Penetrate Double Attack is really good. So, same as the Auto DD Levitine, 5 gauge reduced by 1 gauge for each card on your field, can attack through center, and this card in field cannot be rest. Its critical cannot be reduced by your opponent's card effects. So, I know anti-rest is really nice for swords because swords pretty much get screwed over by having their entire field rested, and also critical reduction is kind of a nice thing thrown on there as well. So I mean, it's a pretty solid card. I don't really play swords much, so I'm not too sure how to feel about this, but it looks really good just right off the bat. You also have Plague right here. Yeah, this is a real thing. If you didn't already see this effect, you kind of have to wake up to reality. But yeah, it's a set. Plague spells you cast cannot be nullified. Granted, this card can be nullified because it hasn't entered the field yet, but it's still really annoying. So when you cast a spell, choose up to 1 plague item or monster in your field and drop the top card of the deck. If the card dropped this plague spell, you put the card in selected target soul. So not only are you getting another turbo protection, a turbo way to get more cards into soul of your item for Pandemic, you can't null Pandemic now. And like, okay, well, when Pandemic first came out, there weren't a lot of cards that could really null it. Now there is definitely a lot more. Even if Super Faki is now limited to only 1 now, it's still really good. So being able to have all your plague spells just not be nullified is good. I don't believe plagues, I guess, yeah, they do have Infector, but they don't really have like a free immunity to their entire field. But yeah, you can still use Auto DD Wizard to search out Infector, and maybe this will make Plague relevant again. Definitely if you have a play deck or a plague support, you can take this out, have some fun with it. Underhanded means, Oni Assassin, just a really good card. Drop a face also Oni Assassin in your field, gain 2 life, draw 2. Just more really good draw power for Oni Assassins. Dual Golems actually got a card, so 1 life, choose use 1 of the following 2. You only cast Lacian Command once per turn. For this turn, all Dual Golems, I said Dual Dragons, didn't I? On your field, get power plus 10,000. Call size 1 or less Dual Golem monster from drop some by paying its call cost. So, granted, anything that blocks you from calling from drop is going to be stopping this card, even though that's not too common now, except for maybe the Katana set spell. But yeah, still really good to be able to call from drop and recycle Dual Golems that had them destroyed by their own effects. So yeah, that's pretty much it for I can't believe I actually got through that. Still waiting for more reveals. Again, Primordial, you can check out Hunter Search's video because I don't want to spend more time on this, and I'm sure this video is already really long, but there was so much news, a lot of stuff, so definitely leave a comment about what you think. I'm really hyped for what else is in the Thunder Empire and Chaos set. That's what I'm looking for. If we get cards like these in the trial deck, that would be really cool. The Drago Knight deck is looking really good so far. In terms of just G boost, like it's hard to say whether it's definitely better than G-Evo. G-Evo, again, just has all this built-up support, and G-Boost still only has this one set. So you can't really say one is better than the other so far. I feel like it's unfair to compare them to just like by themselves together, if that makes any sense, if I'm getting my point across. But yeah, really good support for a lot of decks. Really impressed from Bushiroad, giving some solid support to a decent amount of decks. You may not get what you want. Bushiroad isn't exactly the best at supporting your deck if you ask or whine about it a lot, but they give some darn good support to decks, and I think this really shows in Thunder Emperor and Chaos set. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Buddy Jacoby, and see you guys later in the next Buddy Fight video.